Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're going to go over how to put fishing line onto a closed-faced reel, and in this case it's the Zebco 33 that was sold as part of a combination by Zebco. This is the Zebco Dura Action fishing rod. It's a closed-faced fishing reel, and I get this question every now and then. Somebody goes out and buys one of these and either the line breaks off of it or maybe it never came with line to begin with, and they say, how do I put the line back on the reel? Well, those of us that know the intricacies of the reel kind of know that sometimes it's kind of easier than other times, and what we're going to do today is we're going to show you just how to go about that process of removing the line, putting new line on. So let's get started. First thing I like to do is take the reel off of the rod. To do that, you want to grasp the top ferrule on a rod like this. You want to see how the reel is mounted in. Many of them have the top mount, some of them have a bottom mount. Regardless, you want to take that off. You want to know what kind of line you're going to be putting on the reel, and the line that you're going to be putting on the reel is all dependent on the types of fishing that you're going to do. If you're targeting freshwater pond fishing and maybe it's just bluegill or crappie, you can go with a lighter line. If you're going for bass, you probably want to go a little bit heavier. So what's a lighter line? 4-pound test is a lighter line around here. Bass, 8 to 10-pound test, and this reel is capable of handling both. I believe this is a reel that was made in China. Made in China, yeah. So this is a later version of the Zebco 33, and we want to show you how to get that line off and get that line on. So the cap on the top is key to this. That's what's hiding the line in the collection. You'll notice that there's a couple of indents on the cap. Those are going into a groove on the inside of the case, and you simply twist just a quarter of a turn or so, and that will enable you to remove that cap. Underneath the cap, we typically have a collar, and that collar can unscrew, turning it the opposite way that the line is going to gather. Now, this one had a problem in it, so there you go. Sometimes reels fail and you don't know why. This one failed because there was a little line that broke off inside here. These are the two trip pins that hold the case together. When they are extended like this one, it will catch the line coming through, and when you go to cast and pop up, it goes to, these items pull in. You can see how this will move in and out. These pull in to allow the line to escape. Well, the removal of the line is fairly simple. We've taken off the key pieces, and now you want to just simply unspool the line. Sometimes it's easier to leave this one on the pole. You want to have the clearance. I do this manually. There are tools out there that you can use to accelerate the process. Actually, let me show you one of those. A friend of our channel, Ray, actually sent this in. And this is a tool that you can use to help you remove the line. So I typically do it by hand, but this is a big cone. This thing is called line off, and well, you can see we have a cone that goes towards the center. We have an adjuster through pin here, and we have a mounting pin here. That'll mount into, well, just about any handheld drill. And what you do is you just use the drill to collect the line. When it's all done collected, you remove the wing nut. These two cones separate. You pull this out, and you easily remove the old spool line. Well, I'm just going old school on this one. We're going to pull this off, make it easy on you. There's not that much line on here to do this, so I guess over time you get used to doing this. But if you need the assist with that cone, go ahead and do that. Well, while I'm doing this, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, particularly if you like the automobile service and repair, if you like to learn how reels are made, if you have fundamental needs to understand things. I try to cover everything. Some folks are saying, well, gee, you work on all these big and intricate fishing reels. Why are you talking about putting line on reels? Well, because everybody needs to know the basics of fishing in order to be successful at it. A lot of times folks just get frustrated And, well, they give up the sport because they just don't understand it, or they find it difficult to comprehend. We're not about that. We're about trying to just share with you what I know before I can't do that any longer. And one of the things I get asked frequently is, how do you put line on? Sometimes I get asked simple questions. Well, I think they're simple. They're not to the person who's asking them. So don't be afraid to stop and ask. Actually, I've created a channel segment, one of our little video podcasts that we do, called Questions. And I just accumulate questions that have come up through the comments section, and just gather a few till I can get a critical mass there. And then I try to answer the questions, whether it's on fishing reel repair, whether it's on who made the reels, when they were made, why they were made, how they're used. I get all kinds of questions, and you know, I'm kind of a subscriber to that old saying that there really isn't any bad questions. There's only questions that go unasked, and that's probably the worst of all of them. Well, I'm getting down to the base of this. I would guess that this line is probably 4-pound test. It's quite possibly 6-pound. It's not very heavy. And one of the things I recommend, if you have a reel that you don't know any history on, is to dump the line right away. Line stretches, line ages, line gets weak with UV. There's a whole host of reasons why line is not a real good thing to leave on your line and trust to the next cast, if you will, if you don't know what the line is about. You certainly don't want to lose that trophy bass or anything like that because you didn't think it was necessary or important to change that line out. I recommend changing the line every time you service the reel, and I recommend that at a minimum you service the reel annually. All right, well, all of the line is off the spool, so the next thing is, how do we put the line back on? We're going to pause right now, get the right line, and we'll show you how to do that. Well, I've selected 6-pound monofilament. This is just the bargain basement kind of stuff because, well, it was here. But also I think it's appropriate for the fish that we're going to be going. And we have a local lake here. And what I did was, starting at the top, the tip-top eyelet, I've worked the line through all of the line guides on the pole. Next up then, you want to bring it through the hole in the top of the cap. Then we're going to put it through here. Now you can put this back on. Remember, it tightens in the direction that the spool is going to spin. So it'll go in this direction here. And what you want to do on the line itself is make sure that the wind of the line is going to be the same direction as the reel is going to be winding. So in this case, we've set it upside down. Now I'm going to use an arbor knot. And an arbor knot is a overhand knot. I like to do 2 of them. You can actually do it as a surgeon's knot, just a double overhand. But get that knot, and then I'm going to trim this tag end off. Then the arbor knot goes on the spool. A lot of folks ask me, how do you get it tight to the bottom of the spool with a deep spool like that? Well, the arbor knot does that. Hold it up top. This is going to be hard maybe to see, and I'll apologize for that. Over the top, under, and then through the hole you created. It's kind of a slip knot. Then you just pull in, and that will pull it all the way down and tighten it as we go. All right, now we can bring our cone back on. Find the indents. These are the indents. Find the indents for these. Find your indents, and on this one it's interesting because you have the badge on it, and these are not exactly symmetrical, so you do need to make sure that it's located there so that when you twist to set the cap, that does align with this button here. All right, this goes back on the rod. Insert from the back first, tighten down if you have the top set. then the rest was, well, it's just cranking the handle. It's going to be hard to show because of the way that this is set up on the bench, but simply crank the handle, holding tension on your line as you do that, and that will fill the spool. Well, I'm going to leave it there because, again, it's poor photography at this point to show you how to do that. Just hold tension on your line as you crank, and well, you'll fill up the reel for the season. It'll be all ready to go fishing, and you won't have to worry about snap-offs. Well, I hope that's been informative. I hope you've been able to learn from this in terms of how to set the line. We showed you that it's best done on the bench, off of the pole. Told you how to remove the cap, how to clear the old line, whether you want to use a tool for that or you just want to pull it off by hand. We showed you how to tie an arbor knot to reaffix that. Told you about bringing this through the rod in order to set this up properly. A little bit about how the pins work to gather the line itself. And then, of course, tying it off and cranking it to load. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I truly appreciate all it is that you do day in and day out to keep us safe and out of harm's way. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for watching, for suggesting topics like this, and for making this channel what it is. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.